Happy football season, everybody, and welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. Mac, we continue our ACC season previews. We interviewed all 17 head coaches, and today we are talking with the head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers, the guy who molded Eric McLean into the offensive lineman that he was, which was all ACC, by the way, Tony Elliott. We're talking Virginia today.
We are talking Virginia today. And KG, you know what? We are close, to the season. We are right here. We have, I think, one more Monday before it's game week, and we're sprinting into week 0. Let's go. I'm excited. So what I have to ask you, and we're very excited for Virginia today. Shout out to Coach E. Shout out to Jim Daves, retiring, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, KG. You did know that. I think you were in that text group.
Yeah.
So sad, but happy for him. He's going to be playing a lot of golf. And so who knows? Maybe we'll see him, on the mountaintop somewhere playing a little golf in the Virginias. Would love the Virginias. I said the Virginias like there's two of them.
The Virginias.
Carolinas.
Well,
the Virginia.
Matt, there are two Virginias.
Yeah, it's the Commonwealth, right? There's like a million.
Virginia and West Virginia.
Yeah, nobody wants to be associated together like that.
Virginia fans are already annoyed. Okay, continue.
They're brutal. They're so annoyed. But what I want to know is, are you ready for tailgating? Like, are you good? Do we need to have a practice tailgate? We're close.
Mac, I'm so ready. I'm always ready to tailgate. I love it. Like, one of my happiest places is, which sounds ironic, but is sitting in a parking lot. With a tent up, either
at 6 a.m.
sweating or freezing, trying to make my child be entertained.
Yes.
Trying to set up a pack and play in a parking lot to see if someone can nap, and just getting ready for some football and tailgating. So yes, I am so ready, Mac. I feel like I have some dips in my future. I have a variety of different things, obviously some really good meats that I know you're going to be cooking up. So I just can't wait. It makes me smile to think about tailgating in a parking lot.
No question. I can't wait. Does Nick, listen, your husband is an engineer, Nick. We love him and very, process oriented thought. Do you guys do a dry run like as a family? Like, do y'all go out, do everything and then come back home, or no, y'all don't do that?
No, but I will tell you this. If anybody who, is a big football fan, and maybe more, live in the South, but hey, you could be anywhere in the Atlantic Coast Conference, which can be anywhere in the world,
Coast to coast.
We have a shelf in our garage that is called the tailgate shelf, where Nick has a system where he keeps all of our tailgating supplies.
I love that.
So I feel like that goes into what you're talking about.
A man with a plan. You know what I'm saying?
He has a plan, always.
Fail to plan, plan to fail. There we go. Anyway, let's get into Virginia, KG. Awesome episode. Love Coach Tony Elliott. We're talking all things Wahoo Wah. Let's go.
At Ingles, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you. The ones you trust to have your back, no matter what. Who make the hard times a little softer. And the good ones, somehow, a little better. That's what family is all about. Whether they walk on 2 legs or 4. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Coach E, welcome back to the podcast, brother. It is great to see you. I was going to ask, just about summer and if you guys had all these vacations lined up. I know we have a small window of time, but I know you're probably swamped with baseball. I mean, AJ and Ace and the boys, they're not letting you get anywhere, are they?
No, they're not. So no real plans, because right now they're playing Little League, and so they're in their city championships. They got a game tonight, and All-Stars start after that, and then they got invited to play in some perfect game tournament.
Wow!
So I'll be back in Mississippi. Back when AJ was 8. We were in Mississippi for the Dixie Youth World Series, and now we're headed back to Mississippi to play in some perfect game tournaments.
How about that? Well, congratulations. You bring up, the boys, and it was great seeing Tamika down in Amelia Island and yourself. And, she's telling me AJ's about to start driving. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, Coach. I just saw you guys. It is crazy, though. I know. It is crazy how time flies, though.
But it's crazy how time flies, man. Waiting on you. I'm waiting on you to get rolling. And
that's right.
Start having them. And
we got a little baby girl. Kelly has a little baby boy, so she's ahead of me in the football ranks there. But we're making it happen. We're making it happen, KG.
Yeah, Coachy, we'll keep you posted on that. Jacob's he's got some girth to him.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll
Maybe a
talk.
left tackle or a pulling
Very
guard. We'll
good.
see. We'll see.
You know,
Yeah. And we like that idea of a little UVA degree. I love that. So we'll
tell
talk.
you what.
Coach, one thing that we've seen coming up on social media lately is that new facility that you
Yes.
guys have. It looks beautiful. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's so we moved in. The ribbon cutting ceremony was this past Thursday. Had a chance to let the team go in and see it, and they worked out in the weight room for the first time, and it's unbelievable. So very very grateful for the administration, President Ryan, Carla Williams, Rector Hardy, all of the donors, all of the alum, everybody that contributed to it. It's a long time coming,
Yeah.
but I think we were able to capture the essence of the University of Virginia and Virginia football, and I was going for a specific type of messaging on the
Mm.
inside, and so I think we have a young lady that works in house, Lindsay Morris. She did a great job of capturing that vision. So it's timeless. It's also contemporary,
Yeah.
right? And then it shows some of the messaging for the current team. So we're
Mm.
really excited about it.
I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be up there in a couple of weeks for the summer tour. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see that facility and just what it means. But what all's in there? I mean, can you give us the scoop of the blueprint of? Is it meeting rooms? Is there
Yes.
training? Like what
Yes.
what all's in the
So
facility?
I mean, we'll be self-sufficient. So we have an unbelievable weight room. That's the first thing that's going to capture your attention. Just it's one of the biggest, on the East Coast as it relates to just football only. And our strength coach Adam Smotherman did an unbelievable job with all the details. I know you're going to appreciate
I
that.
can't wait.
I can't wait. But we got weight room, all the meeting rooms, locker room, training room, players lounge area, dining facility. So we got all the space that we need to be able to just, come together as a team, service these
Yeah.
guys, provide them, the greatest experience, that they could possibly have.
That's amazing, and I know it's so much needed. And I think just showing that commitment too, like
Yeah.
you said, is
Yeah.
so important and will help you guys in so many different ways on the recruiting trail and other
Right.
things of that nature with NIL and things of that nature.
So
But let's
we're eliminating the excuses.
That's right. That's right. And that's what you got to do. Let's just go play. Let's make it happen. And speaking of that, let's jump into your team here and start with your QBs because we saw flashes from both, right? Like all year. And some it was unfortunate due to injury that another guy got an opportunity, but he was ready and he made, the most of his opportunity with Calandria and Musket there. Did either guy pull ahead in the spring? And what do they need to do, I guess, to pull away
Right.
in fall camp here?
So yeah, we're very fortunate to have a really good situation at quarterback right now, and it starts with their relationship with each other. Tony being the veteran guy that's been around, played a lot of football, won a lot of games, and then you got an extremely talented young guy with a little bit of experience, and they've done a great job of establishing a solid relationship that really really pushes each other. So that's a blessing for us. And Tony, because of the way things ended, I mean, started with the season and how they ended, he's still the starting quarterback, but Calandria is pushing every single day, and that battle is going to go into fall camp. So obviously you got to start somewhere. Right? That's what you tell the guys. You got to start somewhere. But both of those guys know what my expectation is from a leadership standpoint. For me, I don't have, per se a preference. I just have a standard of what I want at quarterback, right? And what that means. And they each have different skill sets, right? And both of them have proven that they can win at this level. So that's exciting for us. And so spring was competitive, and I thought that Tony did a good job, coming back off of shoulder surgery and inserting himself back in, taking command of the offense. And I thought Calandria made a lot of progress just from a maturity standpoint, command of the offense. We know the talent is there. There's no question. And you mentioned the flashes. The talent is there. And so I think that the challenge for both of those guys is to keep competing, right? Don't try to be the other guy. Just be yourself and be the best version of yourself.
Right. And I think one thing that was so important there that I know we think about it every day and you do it every day, so you kind of glossed over it, but they're both different and kind of, dramatically different in the fact. And the good thing that I know about you is you have experience with having two guys that are so dramatically different and understanding that if one gets an opportunity or if you script it where one gets an opportunity, you don't necessarily do the same things. I remember back in 2014 when, Coach Morris moves on, you and Coach Scott become the coordinators. And, that whole year, what was weird was, if Cole got a chance or if Cole was starting, we were calling Deshaun Watson plays. Well, when you guys got the reins, we started calling Cole Stout plays, and Cole Stout won the MVP, and we absolutely destroy Oklahoma. How do you just mentally, and your coordinators and offensive coordinator, how do you keep that in mind that this isn't my offense, this isn't the offense, this is what our players can do, this is what we have to instrument on the field?
It's all about the players, you know, and we had a saying there that Coach Sweeney would always, challenge us, man, think players, not plays, right? Because at the end of the day, the players, make the plays. Now you got to have a system, you got to have structure. There's certain things that you want to develop them, even if let's say you got some concepts that may not be their strong suit, you want to try and develop them in that area. But at the end of the day, man, you want to put them in a position to be successful. And if they're not comfortable, they're not confident, it's hard for them to play fast and play free. So I think as coordinators, you got to take your ego out of it, right, and make it about the players.
Coach, it's rare, I think, in this day and age to have two guys willingly come back and say, I'm willing to be in a competition. I mean, that, these days it's like, no, forget that. I'm going somewhere where I get guarantees. So how were you able to navigate that? And then what was it like to have basically all of your team there in the spring? Like 95% of your roster was there in the spring working together.
Well, I think from a program standpoint, everybody is starting to really buy in and understand that the key to winning is competition. And it starts with competition on your own practice field. That competition breeds success. And then also creating an environment where these guys feel like they're being valued on and off the field. They're being developed. They feel like they're being treated fairly, not taken advantage of. So that's where it starts. And both guys, love being here, just at the institution. They love being in this area. They have a great relationship with each other. The meshing between the staff and the players is in a really, really good spot. So, able to get that message through to young people right now is very, very challenging. But that's what we're about. We're building a program about competition, and they trust that, once the competition settles itself, if both of them have to play, then we're going to have a plan for both of them. And really, I think it starts with, we're not pitting them against each other, is getting them to understand they really need each other, right? We all need each other to be the best version of ourselves. And I think that, the guys that are here have chosen to be here, right? So at the University of Virginia right now, we've had a tough 2 years, to get to this point. Had to overcome some significant adversity. And I think the guys that are here have chosen to be here because in this day and age, you can move. You do have freedom of movement, right? And I'm all for that. But I know what I'm trying to build here is a place where guys want to be here, and we're starting to see that because we didn't lose many guys this past cycle when the portal opened up. So I think we're headed in the right direction, and to have the team here has been awesome. And really, truth be told, this is the first true off season that we've had here as a staff. We came in January of 22, and now you're trying to reestablish everything. And then you get through the season ends the way that it does with the tragedies. Now the next off season, you're really just trying to get back to figure out what the new normal is. And so this is the first time we've really had an off season. So it's been fun. And then to have majority of your guys there, it's been really, really cool. And with the new changes in the rules where we're allowed to work with them, right? Because EMAC, you remember back in the day, we weren't allowed to do anything.
It was just me and Joey B all summer.
Joey B all summer, right? So now the coaches, we and again, we respect, Coach Smo and his time, so we don't take too much of it. But it is good to be able to get out there a couple times a week with the guys and just start, preparing for August.
Coach, we know you love the running backs. That's one of your specialties. Kobe Pace is a guy I know that y'all are expecting a lot from. Tell us more about what you expect from him in this running back room.
Yeah, so Kobe and I have a very long relationship, and so I actually recruited him at Clemson when I was there, and then coached him for a year, and then was there for another year when I was coaching tight ends. So we go way back, and he's a guy. First of all, if you spend any time around Kobe, extremely humble. Yeah. Very, very, very mild mannered, but he comes from a high school where, running backs is what you do. And that's part of the reason why I went down there and recruited him. But, I think he's in the best shape he's been in a while. I think he now has a better feel for the offense and what we're trying to do because schematically we're a little bit different than what we were at Clemson, right? We run a little bit more of the wide zone or the outside zone. which is a little bit different. So I think he's accustomed to that. Some of the terminology is different from a pass protection standpoint. So I think now he's really got that foundation under him, and he understands what we're trying to get accomplished here. And I think part of the reason he came here is because he wanted to help myself and his staff, become that model program.
Yeah, I love that, Coach, and excited to see him, get back to full health and be the guy. And can he replicate what he did in 2021, where he was just a monster? I mean, had nearly 800 all-purpose yards, right at 150 touches. I mean, just a guy that can really do it all for you. Let's look at these pass catchers, because I believe this is a unit that has some unique pieces, but also has some pieces that can really step up and be special and be what we're used to seeing, quite frankly, recently from Virginia. You add Trell Harris, you add Andre Green from Carolina, you add Chris Tyree, who I want to talk about more about him in a second, but adding that to Malachi Fields and other guys that you have on the field, how have you felt about this room, and where can they maybe get to?
Yeah, so I think from top to bottom, probably the room with the most competition right now, with the addition of those transfer guys that you mentioned, and then Malachi, and then we have some really good young ones that we recruited that are making progress, and Sedarian Harrison, Jaden Gibson. He's got experience. We got Tyler Coleman. We got Titus Ivy. Dax moving from wideout to tight end, which I think is another position that we've really upgraded here this offseason. But and they're versatile. Like we got a lot of different pieces, right? And that's what I like is because for us and in this league, man, you gotta be multiple, you gotta be versatile, you gotta be able to adjust. And so, we got the big guys on the outside, with Andre and Malachi, and then we got some speed guys and Tyree and Trail, and then you throw Sedarian in there. That's like an all-purpose kind of guy. So we got a lot of depth, which is going to create competition, and I think that's going to help the run game, right? Because now we can balance it out, and then with the upgrades at tight end, I think now defenses are going to have to pick, how do they want to. How they want to try and stop our offensive attack, and then if we take one thing away, we feel good about at least the potential that we have in the other areas.
Right, and so looking at Chris Tyree, because again, just a fantastic, I think, just piece that is still being molded and still trying to figure out. Former 5-star running back at Notre Dame, and then transitions to wide receiver, and then comes home and comes to UVA. What is his ceiling? I mean, where do you think that he can get by the time his time is done at UVA?
Right. So I think if you look at Malik Washington last year and what he was able to accomplish
Come
there.
on.
I'm not putting that on Chris. I'm just saying like a similar skill set.
Yeah.
But top end speed he's faster than Malik. But I think the area where if he'll really just hone in on making all of the different catches, because that's what separated Malik last year is he just made all the catches. Regardless of size, he just caught the ball, and I think Chris is capable of that, and I think that's where if he's able to make that transition fully, this offseason, man, I think he can be very, very special, and he's an outstanding young man. I think when you guys are on campus and have a chance to talk to him, you'll see it right away. He's just an unbelievable.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
Coach, we're hearing the continuity, all these different spots, the competition, which is huge. And I can't believe Mac's even letting me ask this question. Let's talk O-line, right? I mean, because that's the final piece of this offense. So where is your offensive line right now, and what do you need to see from them going into fall?
Yeah. So that was the biggest area of need when I got here. So when we took over, 2 years ago, we only had 6 scholarship linemen. Right. And then we had to build it. And then we also lost some, in the transfer transition last year. But we got all the guys that have started games for us last year, for the most part, are back. Right. And now they played a lot of snaps, and they were beat up last year. So, many of them this offseason have had some surgeries to clean up some stuff. But we got all those guys back. And then we add Houston Curry to the mix, who was a talented, young guy that was banged up a little bit last year. And, excited about Charlie Patterson and Jack Whitmer and the progress that they've made. And then we got one transfer coming in that'll be here in next week. He's an Ivy League graduate that's coming in to help us. So I feel a lot better about just the overall depth. Like last year, we might have had 6 maybe 7 guys that we felt like we could go win a game with. Now I feel like we're going to have that 10 to 11 guys that gives
That's
us
great.
competitive depth. Still got some youth, that we're counting on, but I just feel better about the competitive depth that we have. And man, I love Coach F does a great job, and he's been a great addition to our staff. And he has experience at the NFL level, the college level. He was at Stanford, so the guys are really starting to gravitate towards his style of teaching, and it's a great mesh with what he brings with Coach Kitchens because they both got NFL backgrounds. So it's we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Still an area where we want to continue to develop, but I feel much better about where we are than the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's exciting. Sounds like a lot of stuff is coming together, which is something that gets you going and something that really gets you jacked up for the season. Let's look at the defensive side of the ball, Coach, because Jonas Sanker is a guy that is just a weapon. I mean, a special talent, a safety with over 100 tackles. I mean, can really insert himself in a lot of different ways and a lot of different plays. What does that do for a defense? I mean, when you have a guy like that, what does it bring to the table?
Right. First, have opportunity for great leadership. And Jonas being a local guy, he's been here. He's all first team All ACC, been very productive. That provides leadership. In the back end was probably the area where we had to make up the most ground, right? Because all 4 of those veteran D linemen decided to come back, which gives us great depth there. We had the freshman All-American at linebacker and Cam Robinson, and then you got kind of the heart of our defense, James Jackson, returning for another season. It was just on the back end is where we needed to make the most progress, and I think that's where Jonas has helped us the most this offseason. He's really started to embrace his role as a leader, and the film and the production, it all speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does. Coach, I want to get this date right, all right? We've got October 19th, Virginia at Clemson, and how is that going to feel? Like I know you got to just put it all away and focus on the game, but that's going to be an interesting one for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only time it'll really have an impact is pregame when you step on the field and you're seeing all the people that you spent many years with, and then now you got to go out to midfield, and I don't know what the conversation is going to be like with Coach Sweeney and I when we go out to midfield, but that's probably going to be the only time. Just in terms of the preparation, changing the mindset here is it's not about who we play. Man, it's all about how we play, and they're going to have a similar mindset, and so it's going to be fun to kind of see where we stack up, right? Because I think we all know in our league in particular, Clemson's been the standard for many years, and there's a lot of things that I brought from Clemson because I believe in it, right? They're the right things. It's how you win. So it's going to be fun to see how our guys stack up. But in terms of going into it, you can't put any more emphasis on that game than any other game on the schedule, right? But I know for me, walking out on the field, it's gonna be probably some emotion. But once we kick it off, I have a responsibility to my team to make sure that I'm the best version of myself for them, to give them the best opportunity to have a chance to go compete and see if they can win.
Yeah.
You can at least get some smoke and pig or something, Coach?
Yeah, something. Because
we got a spot up here called Fish and Pig.
Okay.
It's very comparable.
So that's where we're going in a couple weeks, baby. That's where we're going.
Coach, Charlottesville is a great food city.
It is.
Like you are living up there with their food selection. I know.
There's a lot of different spots up here that are very good.
That's exciting. And I think the looking at that question, just it was just for you, right? Like not your players, and we understand. Like at the end of the day, you're coaching, but you played there. You coached there, won championships there. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to talk to you afterwards just to see what it was like for a moment, because I know at the end of the day you're doing your thing, and you got to win a game there. So looking at next year, I've been very interested. We've asked everybody this, but I've been very interested to hear your answer, just because I know how you are and how analytical and attention to detail. You guys are going to have iPads next year, video on the sidelines, and you're going to have helmet to player communication. 2 things that I think have been needed for a long time, but now they're here. Do you like it? What aspect do you think it changes? And how does that change maybe your approach on a game day, knowing that you have that right now?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it, if I'm just being transparent.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I think the college game was always kind of its own little thing, right? We had our own way that we went about doing things, and man, you didn't have the technology, and so it forced you to, like, from an adjustment standpoint, all of those types of things. Your communication had to be really good. But I also, understand, the value that it brings, right?
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see how it works. I think the biggest thing is, this kind of falls in my wheelhouse from my engineering days, the proper integration,
Right.
right, of the technology. You gotta, because again, if you could get yourself in a situation where you're too reliant on the technology that you can't make the proper decisions from just the flow of the game standpoint,
Right.
right? And then you don't want to underutilize it as well, because it can help you make some adjustments. So really just finding that balance, what is the
Hmm.
right balance, and what's the proper use of it? Because it's cool. Like, it's really, really cool because you can do a lot of different things with the iPad. You can set up all this kind of things, but the game is happening fast,
So
right?
fast.
And so you got to be efficient to make sure that you have. So for me, really challenging the coordinators, like, let's make sure we have a plan, right? A
Hmm.
precise plan, and we integrate it properly so that it doesn't become something that slows us down. But we also want to take full advantage of it. And the headset stuff's gonna be pretty cool. But still, it's a not everybody at this level huddles, right?
Right.
So you still have to figure out how you're going to integrate that, if that
Hmm.
if that makes sense. And
Hmm.
so for us, with what Coach Kitchens has brought to UVA, we have the ability to huddle. So there'll be times where it'll look kind of like the NFL, and then there'll be times when we want to play, what I'm used to,
Yeah,
basketball on grass and going fast.
that's right.
You can't let it slow you down. So really, it's finding the proper integration of the technology to make it, make it as advantageous as possible without it becoming a distraction or a
Yeah.
hindrance.
Yeah, I get it, man. It's going to be fun to watch, and your answer with the our own thing, and I like doing the detail. That's very on par with everyone
Yeah,
that's been a play caller, right? That
yeah,
is so in the weeds and kind of
yeah.
understands that. That's how I got my advantage, and now we're kind of
Yeah.
leveling some of the playing field. So anyway, Coach, this was awesome. Always great to see you. Grateful for your time, and can't wait to see you in a bit.
And I appreciate y'all.
What's up, guys? As you can tell by the hats, the shirts, the logo, we've got a new partner, Underdog Fantasy plus Gramlich and Mac Lane. We are super excited. They sent us a bunch of swag. They sent us a bunch of tennis balls. KG, Sam has loved the tennis balls. I'm not sure what you've done with them. Maybe throwing them out. Jacob doing his thing, getting after it. But we are so excited. And just let me tell you a little bit about these guys. The favorite thing that I like is, number one, you've got fantasy drafts where a ton of people know how to do that. Check it out. They have a really great thing there. But then you can pick your favorite player higher, lower. And KG, you've already got into this for kind of a season long deal. Can you tell the people a little insight
Yes.
on what you got there?
Well, I'm going to tell you about my most recent Pick'em entry, but Underdog Fantasy, it's the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. I have it pulled up right here on my phone. It's so easy to download. We're going to give you a promo code in a second that you can use to start your journey here. But my most recent one, I did this before the start of the season, and this is called my ACC, Let's Go ACC pick, right? So these are positive right here. I've got Casey Concepcion higher than 800.5 receiving yards for the season. Rondé Gadsden higher than 550.5 for the season receiving yards. And then Jaden Ott, the Cal running back, higher than 975.5 rushing yards. So if all three of those hit, boom, then I'm going to be feeling good on
That's
Underdog Fantasy. So I'm so excited about this partnership, Mac. I think this is a unique way to get involved with the game and to play fantasy sports. And like we said, download that app, check it out. It is the easiest place to play fantasy sports.
It really is very user friendly. And again, all season long, we've been giving you picks for years. We've been pretty good. Well, now we finally get to put our money where our mouth is, and you can join us. Okay. And we want to give you kind of a reward if you sign up and use our code GMPOD. That's GMPOD, all caps there. You have a special pick that you can claim. And then for first time deposit, they will offer up to $250 in bonus cash. So if you put in 250, they're going to put in 250. If you
Oh,
only put in 100, they'll put in 100. So we're giving you money, guys. You got to use our code. Sign in. This is going to be an awesome thing all year long. KG and I are going to be bringing you our picks. And if you look historically, you might want to listen to Kelly. She's a little bit better at the picks than I do. But we'll see. We'll see who makes the most money at the end of this thing. KG, I'm jacked up for it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
cannot wait. Our code GMPOD, GMPOD. Sign up now. We'll put some links on social media and below in the description here on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts. Join in on the fun today with Underdog Fantasy. Thanks again to Tony Elliott for joining us. It really is always fun to talk with Coach E and to talk about Virginia. Now, Mac, let's, reference the season that was. They went 3-9 last year, 2-6 in the ACC. They had that crazy win over North Carolina, which we all remember.
Great one. Yeah.
And, they're still rebuilding in more ways than one with Virginia because of obviously the tragedy that happened there. But they have two really exciting guys at quarterback, Musket and Calandria. Who's it going to be? How's that going to work? You have the wily veteran and you have kind of the crazy young guy who can do some crazy stuff. The thing with Virginia that's to me I do care who the quarterback is, but I feel like that's not your big issue right now. The win total of 4.5, what's going to determine what you do with that is what the defense does. This defense needs to improve in almost every possible way. Only recorded 11 sacks last year. If this defense can they need to take a big step.
Right.
But if they can, that's where I think Virginia could turn things around.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And here's the deal, it helps everything, right? If you're, so dependent one way or the other, whether, your just offense is not great, right? And it just puts a ton of stress on your defense or vice versa. Your defense can't stop anybody, offense. Okay, go score again, please keep us in this. It's hard. And so I think when you look at that, yes, we need to see improvement everywhere. Everyone needs to step up and play better. But there is something to that complementary football. And when I look at this Virginia team, all their starters back on the offensive line, that's a big deal. They lost a ton when Coach Elliott was coming in, when Bronco, decided to stop coaching. A lot of those guys went elsewhere. So that's big to get that back. You've got a running back in Kobe Pace that we think can be really electric. And then, as you said, you got two quarterbacks that they're going to have guys to throw the ball to, right? I mean, you look at this receiver room, they've got some dudes there. There's a chance that this thing comes together, but it's just how quickly, how much. I mean, the schedule's not great. There's some difficult pockets. I mean, I'm looking at playing Louisville, Clemson, Carolina, back to back to back. And then you're looking at Notre Dame, SMU, at Virginia Tech, back to back to back to finish, your season there with, at Pittsburgh with who knows what they're going to be in between that. So it is a tough stretch. And then you throw in at Coastal and versus Maryland for your non-con. This is going to be a tough one, KG.
Yeah, it is. That's just kind of the reality of where you are when you're rebuilding a program and you have this kind of schedule. I think the number of 4.5, I think you have to go under. Would love to see Virginia surprise us all. But it's just like you mentioned, Mac, this schedule does not do you any favors.
Yeah.
But it also sets you up for a lot of opportunities. And I think, a lot of it can come from how you start with Richmond and at Wake. Those are two winnable games to me. If you could start 2-0, then you host Maryland. That could be, a game that could turn your season one way or another. Let's see. I don't want to just say, hey, Virginia, it is what it is, but 4.5, I'm going under, but let's see if they can start 2-0 and build off of that.
Yeah. And here's the deal. I think I just psyched myself out because I'm going over, KG. I'm going 5. I'm going 5 wins.
Oh,
I think they find a way. I think Calandria finds a way. I think that he gets back in the mix of this thing. He's too dynamic. He finds a way on the field.
He is.
Give me 5 wins. Give me Richmond. Give me at Wake. Give me at Pitt. That's 3. I'm struggling right here.
Talks himself into it.
Let's do
Real
it.
Time in front of us.
Listen, here's the deal. The huddle is going to be live and in person that Maryland game, week 3. Get it freaking done, UVA.
Obviously the ACC bump that Virginia needs.
If EJ needs to play quarterback, if Eddie needs to play receiver, I can take a couple snaps. We'll help. Suit us up.
You might be the most important person in that dynamic for Virginia.
Maybe. I don't know. QB's a big deal.
They might have one though, Mac.
We'll see. Am I crazy, people? Can you tell us? Jump in the comments here. The number is 4.5. Where are we thinking? Where are we leaning? KG might be right here. I might be losing all my money. But we always appreciate you guys. Thanks, Tony Elliott, Coach E there. Can't wait to see him. Like I said, week 3, get back to Charlottesville. I haven't been there in a long time. So I'm excited for that, to see it on a game day environment. Yeah.
College town.
Do you have some food places off the top of your head? Can you help us out?
Oh, man.
Put her on the spot. This is brutal.
Here's the thing. And Mac, you know how I feel about this. Do you know what Charlottesville has? Because this is where I end up every time.
I don't. I've never been. I've been twice.
Well, yeah. They have a Torchy's. That's
Oh
where I
my
end up.
God.
Like I just don't go anywhere else. That's the problem.
No
They
way.
have a Torchy's.
You went
That's all
on
you need
this
to know.
epic rant of all the good food, and you hit me with a Torchy's.
Are you
That's it.
serious?
I love Torchy's,
Matt.
but I don't want to go to Virginia to have
Okay.
Torchy's. I want to go to Dallas to have Torchy's, not Virginia.
Okay, I want to go. I want to go anywhere there is a Torchy's. They have a
Give me
lot of
one.
other
Give me
very,
one.
very good spots.
That's it. All right, jump in the comments, chat, and tell us where we need to go.
Trying to think where I ate the last time I
That hurt
was
my
there.
soul. That hurt my soul. All right, Torchy's, great. Can't wait.
There's a lot of good spots.
Go
A
to
lot of good
Virginia for Torchy's. Appreciate you guys. Keep tuning in. Like I said, go over to YouTube, subscribe. Go over to OG's on Apple Podcasts, subscribe as well. But until next time, we'll see y'all.